One actionable takeaway from today's video is to go and have an earlier sleep today, and tomorrow, and every day. Hi guys, we are so used to the idea that if we wake up earlier, like 5 a.m, we could get so much more productive, get more things done, and have our miracle morning. And it was a good idea for me as well. Well, until I read the most eye-opening book by Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. I initially thought that I would do a short version of it during my Blinkist challenge, but I'm so glad I didn't. I hope that by the end of the video you will get one of those two takeaways. First of all, you will find some actionable tips that you can implement in your life to drastically improve the quality of your life. And secondly, you will get motivated to read the whole book because I truly believe it's life-changing. In our society, sleeping often equates to being lazy, waking up later, or having a midday nap. And from the outside perspective, it really does look like doing nothing. In reality, as soon as we finish our day and go to sleep, our body is working hard to make sure that we can function well when we are awake. It's just not that obvious at first. When we are asleep, we go back and forth between two types of sleep, which is REM sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. That's the type of sleep when we see dreams and our eyes are moving a lot. And non-REM sleep, or NREM. NREM is further broken down to stages 1 to 4, where 1 and 2 is lighter sleep and 3 or 4 is deeper sleep. And it's more difficult to get someone awake when they are in this type of deep sleep. Light NREM stages 1 and 2 prepare our mind for remembering things. Deep NREM sleep, stages 3 and 4, strengthens our memories. It moves our memories from short-term memory to long-term memory so that we could remember things for years to come. It is also responsible for removing all the unnecessary neural connections so that we don't have to remember everything that is not important to us. For example, I don't want to remember all the car registration numbers on the motorway and so on. And REM sleep is the one when we see our dreams. Actually, during that type of sleep, our brain sometimes can be more active comparing to the time when we are awake. This is the time when necessary new knowledge is strengthening and neural connections are strengthening. And not only, during that sleep you can regain the knowledge you thought is lost. For example, you heard a song and you don't remember words anymore, but after a proper sleep it can come back to you. REM sleep is also associated with our mental and emotional regulation. This is the only part of the day when the stress chemicals are at the lowest level in our body. So this type of sleep helps to cope with the emotional and sometimes even traumatic experience of our lives, and not only with our own lives, but it also helps to understand other people's emotions. When we go to sleep, we gradually transition from being awake to light NREM sleep, then to deep NREM sleep, then REM sleep, and then we start all over again. The cycle starts around every 90 minutes. So during night, we go through several of those cycles over the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep per day. As you can see from the graph, in the beginning of the night we spend more time in the NREM sleep, and towards the morning we spend more time in REM sleep. That's the preference of our brain. Based on the day and night information it receives, it prefers to start with more NREM sleep from around 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. and then to have more of REM sleep towards the morning, from around 3 a.m. onwards. So when we go to bed too late, let's say 1 a.m., we actually can lose a lot of NREM sleep. Likewise, when we wake up too early, we don't just lose some sleep, we lose a really big part of the REM sleep. It took me some time to understand and actually remember information about the types of sleep and the cycles, but as soon as it clicked with me, it started to be so much easier, so much more clear for me to read the stories of the book. And they really felt like stories to me. Matthew Walker, the author of the book, is a scientist and a professor of neuroscience, and he's truly passionate about sleep, and this passion translated to me as well. I was really surprised and interested in learning of the origins and details of power naps. By the way, do you know what are power naps? Let me know in comments below. While reading the book, I understood it's not only the number of hours that we are sleeping. Do you remember nights when you slept like 8, 9 or 10 hours and still didn't feel like you slept at all? So it's important to maintain the quality of the sleep as well. And this is something that everyone can start implementing in their lives. I picked up 3 of those tips which resonated with me a lot, and they are small, actionable and very powerful. Tip number 1 is to take hot bath before going to bed. And it's not only the relaxation part that is important here. Of course, relaxation will help to slow down and get prepared for sleep, and it helps us to fall asleep faster and sleep better. After taking the bath, our blood vessels are becoming thicker and the blood circulates faster in them, so it can radiate heat much more faster, so we can fall asleep faster. Studies show that it can help to have 10 to 15% more of REM sleep. An alternative to this is to have your feet very warm before going to bed, because feet and hands actually have a lot of blood vessels very close to the surface of the skin. So as soon as they are warm, a lot of blood is circulating there and helps to dissipate heat a lot. So we are cooling a bit faster and hence we can fall asleep faster. Tip number 2 is to avoid alcohol before sleep. And it may seem a bit counterintuitive because after a glass of wine we usually feel a bit more sleepy, but actually it's more of a sedative effect of the alcohol. So we are sleeping, we may be sleeping, but it's not the quality of sleep that we want. So it's not restorative, it's very fragmented, and it actually worsens the quality of REM sleep as well. And tip number 3 is do whatever you want, but avoid hitting the snooze button on your alarm clock. And I'm very guilty of that as well because I try to wake up a bit earlier than my daughter does, and I often set up alarm clock like 6:30 or similar time. But actually I'm so tired in the morning and I would like to sleep a bit more, so I hit the snooze button to just enjoy 10 more minutes of this peaceful sleep. And it's actually a very bad practice because when we are enforcing our wakefulness, our body is a bit in stress, so it releases stress hormones and it makes our body alert to all the potential risks that we can encounter when we wake up. And when we are doing it multiple times in the morning, it means we are enforcing the blood pressure spikes multiple times in the morning, over multiple days, a week, over multiple years. And it's not very good for our body. And the second reason is, as we discussed, mornings are really rich on REM sleep. This is the type of sleep which brings together all the abstract things and abstract concepts into our mind, which is the essence of creativity. So one of the big discoveries for me was that in the morning we are actually getting most of our creative sleep, and every 10 minutes of uninterrupted good quality sleep is so valuable. So something that I will do from now on is I will try to ensure that I sleep at least 7 hours per night. And when I hit that goal, I will try to increase the number of hours I sleep. And given the perspective that we sleep 1/3 of the day and hence 1/3 of our life, it means that sleep is a valuable and very important part of our life. I hope you found this video interesting and picked up some ideas to implement in your life. And have a good sleep. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!